everyone, this is Anne, and welcome back to my next Flosstube, which I think is number 4. Today is January the 4th, which is a Wednesday. It's 2017, so Happy New Year to everyone. I hope that you had a great holiday week, enjoyed whatever type of celebration you celebrate, and got your new year kicked off to a great start. My husband and I just hung out around the house. It was great. We had a really quiet Christmas. We did not travel this year. Yeah, it was good on so many levels. I did some stitching over the holiday break, lots of which I will share with you guys. I've got, let's see, a new start, a bunch of whips, no surprise there, a fully finished object, some information on my January goals and plans, and just some other kind of random stuff. I have a little bit of haul, which I'll start off with because they were Christmas gifts. The first of which, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were in Paris this year. They love to go overseas. My brother-in-law, he travels a lot for business. He's gone at least 3 out of every 4 weeks. And not necessarily to Paris. He's actually in Canada, between Canada and the US quite a bit. But they do have a metric tonnage of frequent flyer miles. So when they travel, they pretty much can go anywhere in the world on his frequent flyer miles and stay in hotels for free and all that good stuff. So they were in Paris this past summer. I want to say late July, might have been late August. Anyway, they went and they toured the museum where the Bayeux Tapestry is, and as they were wandering through the gift shop, my brother-in-law called the family over. And I should note that, I mean, he is not a cross stitcher. My sister-in-law doesn't do crafty stuff. My nephews do not do crafty stuff. But they know I do crafty stuff. So in the gift shop, they had some embroidery kits. And so my brother-in-law called everyone over there, and he was pointing one out, and he was like, "Don't you think that would be perfect for Anne? Shouldn't we get that for her as a gift?" So they had my Christmas gift bought in the summer, because I guess I'm easy to shop for, which is awesome. So they picked me up the kit for this project, which is King Harold and his falcon and his war destrier. It is in French, which I have very limited schoolgirl, like grade school schoolgirl French. So I may have to call on Google Translate for some of the instructions. I think I've gotten most of them, and they do have a YouTube video that talks about like how to stitch the piece. But it came as a kit, so it is all of the flosses that are all wool, and then the printed, I'm not going to take it out of the bag, but the printed linen that has the cartoon for the embroidery work. Not cross stitch, which is fine, but yeah, it should be an interesting project to do. My husband and I were in Scotland, I think it's been 10 years ago now. He had a conference when he was in grad school that he had to present a paper at in Ireland, and we wound up going over to Scotland for, I believe it was 5 days afterwards, because, you know, we'd already made the big jump, so that was a short jump. And one of the things that we did is we toured Stirling Castle, and they were busy working on the restoration of a whole bunch of medieval tapestries at that point in time, and I could have stood there all day and watched that. I think there is a YouTube video out on some of that, but anyway, some of the techniques that they used in that are similar to, as I am gleaning from the text, the techniques in this. So I'm not sure when that's going to get started, but I am anxious to start it. I think it will be a fun finish. I think I would just make it into a small square pillow. And as a sidebar note, this is going to be one of Terry's rabbit trails, I think. My husband and I have an extra bedroom upstairs. my office, my computer, and everything is downstairs. We have a split level house. So upstairs we have a small bedroom that just has a twin bed in it, and it's kind of been, it's just unused space. You know, I mean, it's rare that we have so many guests that we need that bedroom, because we have another extra bedroom that has, you know, a bigger bed and a full closet and end tables and lamps and all of that. So we've been kind of talking about what we should do with that room, because it's really a square footage that we don't use. The nice part about it is it gets afternoon sun. It's got great natural light. It's got a big set of windows on the front of the house. And there's plenty of space in the closet to add in some storage. And so since he had taken over one of the other rooms that we have in the house, I know it sounds like we have a mansion, but we don't. We just have a very rambling house. We have a fully finished basement, and then we have 3 bedrooms upstairs. And we don't have any kids, so, right, we just have space for stuff. We have this odd spare room downstairs, where he's decided he wants to put all of his gear for various and sundry of his projects and his hobbies. And it's downstairs where the dogs are, so he can come in and out with them. And if he goes fishing, he can take off his muddy boots down there and then, you know, hang up his waders in the corner, whatever. The short version of this is we're converting that room into a little crafting room for me. And so I have ordered a chair that will be here this week. I think it will be small enough I will not have to sit either with my feet dangling, because this is a problem for me. A little vertically challenged, and or a pillow behind my back, but it is a linen. I really love the fabric on it. The upholstery is a linen, natural linen, and navy blue stripe. And I think that that pillow would actually go really great in that chair in my new stitchy spot. I will get some photos or maybe a short video when I get it set up. It'll be a little while, but I'm looking forward to it, because I will have a place with great light to work in the afternoon. My cat can come sit with me, my helper kitty, and I can just kind of have all my stitching crap in one place and not spread out, half in the living room, half downstairs, just one place. Okay, sidebar, over, done. Got that for Christmas. That's haul part number 1. Number 2, my folks got me a gift certificate to 123 Stitch. And one of the things I had been already thinking about doing was setting myself up with a master DMC set. So I used my gift certificate from 123 Stitch, and I ordered the remaining floss that I needed. I only needed like 60 skeins total to finish out the set. I've kitted up 2 Heaven and Earth projects this year. And I've kitted up 1 Mirabilia that I haven't even shown you guys, but I had enough floss from that and other projects. I needed 60 more DMC skeins. It was a relatively reasonable purchase. I picked myself up one of the big storage kits, and I spent a lot of the time, sorry for the glare, this holiday weekend bobbinating things. So this is all of the numbers up to, I think, 900, and then the second set, excuse me. I'm not quite finished. You can see that. I have my little checklist. I have this middle section left to do, but I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And this has been great because, you know, my husband said to me, so what are you going to do? There's not enough space in there for duplicates, is there? And I said, no, but, you know, realistically, most projects don't take more than 1 skein of DMC. And this way they're all together. I don't have to think, oh, do I have that color, and go digging through 73 different plastic bags. And I said, this is like famous last words, I don't have that many duplicates anyway, so it's not a big deal. You guys, I had an entire Ziploc bag of dupes. What the hell? So, I mean, I have replacements now for probably 75, 80 of the colors out of the set. Okay, cut myself off. Do not need to buy duplicates of DMC floss for like the next millennia. The other thing I did, this is not a new purchase other than the box. I bobbinated all of my Gentle Arts floss, so I have that, and just did it by alphabetical order. I have several projects I'm working on with these, and now they're all in one place. And again, I had some duplicates. Those I just wound up like putting either on multiple bobbins, or I did 2 of the ones this size onto one bobbin. This was a limited edition from the Stitchy Box, December Stitchy Box of 2016. It's a really pretty green, but I wanted to keep it separate since it's not one of their standard ones. But again, with the dupes, I had four braids of wood trail. I know I'm using it in one project. I have 4. I have 4 skeins worth on these 2 plastic bobbins. Don't need to be buying that anytime soon. I could do an entire project just with wood trail. I love it. It's a gorgeous color. Don't need that much of it. Organization was a good thing. So anyway, Gentle Arts threads are living in this now. That's made a huge difference in my life. Just saying. Okay, so that is all I have to share with you guys really for haul. Fully finished objects. I showed you the January wordplay that I had finished the stitching on. This is on 32 count earthen, done 1/2 except for the snowman. The weight of the snowman I did 2/2. The colorway of the fabric is earthen from Picture This Plus. I used the called for Gentle Arts threads, except I did not use shaker white for the white. I used chalk. I substituted that out, but everything else is the same. And I finished it with this cute little gray and white stripe ticking, which I love. I think I ordered like half a yard or maybe 3/4 of a yard from Etsy, from an Etsy store, and it apparently was the end of the bolt that had almost another full yard on it, and they just sent it for free. So I have enough that to do like this entire wordplay series and back it with this fabric, which I think would be really cute. The design is a with thy needle and thread design. I have most of the months. I plan to stitch most of the months at some point. We took down all of our Christmas stuff, but I left this out. This is on my sideboard upstairs, and I would love to have one for each month at some point. I may do them like quarterly, like I may do one for spring and one for summer and one for fall, and then fill in as I get them done. We'll see. I'll talk about that in my plans. So that is my fully finished object. Love it. It was a fun stitch too. Not a huge amount of stitching time. I want to say maybe 6 or 8 hours total. Maybe a little longer than that, maybe 10 or 12. But, you know, several small sessions and you can finish them up. It goes really quickly with all the little words, and it was fun. I'm checking my notes here because I'm never going to remember everything, and I will note that it is likely that we will probably get interrupted. I'm waiting for my husband to ring me and haven't heard from him. Couldn't wait. Moving on with my day. Anyhow, next. I have been working through my sort of rotation, and I had set this up in December, and I've decided I'm basically going to keep it for the foreseeable future, where I work on 1 project a week, and I have 4 projects basically that I'm working on in any given month. So there'll be week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 of every month. If we wind up with a month that has an extra 5th week, I'll backtrack and catch up on something because I'm sure I'll be behind. Lots of things I can be behind on. But let's start with my new start, because that is my week 1 rotation for January, and that is the village of Hawk Run Hollow. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. It's all over the internet. I am a member of the Let's All Move to Hawk Run Hollow group. So I started this as my New Year, New Start. And I am doing this on 22 count, which is a Hardanger product from Picture This Plus. The colorway is Legacy, which is basically like an antique white. It's got a little bit darker color, but not by much. And so I've started on the first block, and I'm doing this 1/1, which is also why I picked the 22. I'm working on another one-on-one project, which I'll show you in a minute, which is a Heaven and Earth design on 28 count, and it takes a lot of focus. I wanted something with a little bit bigger space, but I didn't want to do, I wanted it to be a small piece. So I thought, well, if you get 28 count, you're going to do 1/2 probably, or 2/2 for the use of that, or 32 or 36 or 40. Even if I had done 40 count, if I'd done that 1/2, it would still have been a bigger piece than doing 1/1 on the 22 count Hardanger, if that makes any sense. Maybe. Anyway, using DMC floss on this, my needle minder is from Stitchy Box, that little gold medallion piece. And this is where I am after 1 longer and 2 short stitching sessions on it. So I'm going to be working on this through the rest of the week. I'm doing this as a stitch along with Angela of Color and Cotton. Don't know if you watched the video, Angela, but if you do, hi. So I have all the lettering done, and I have this little group of birds. Yes, that is a bird. And then I have this section down here that has the river and the fishes and the snake in it. My original plan was to do 1 block a month. If I work on this only a week, I may get this one done, but I'm looking at some of the other ones that have a lot of background stitching in it, like even this next one that's coming up that's here in the center. That's the church. It's basically full coverage from there down, and there's a lot of stitching from there up. So I don't know. I'm going to try to stick to that schedule, but we'll see, because that maybe was an unrealistic goal. I make a lot of those. Anyway, really enjoying working on this. It's fun. I'm enjoying the Hardanger. Hadn't worked on that in years, so that was kind of a nice addition. Anything else on that? No. Next up, I actually worked on this project quite a bit and made a lot of progress over the holiday break. And that is my Decorating the Wreath. It's a Heaven and Earth design, artwork by Scott Gustafson. It's this cute little holiday themed, house gnomes, chipmunk, mouse in a skirt. What's not to love? And so here is where I am on this. I have finished this page, and I have started on the next sections down. So the edge is over here, and the top up here is as far as that goes. So I was really happy to have a page finished. I finished up the red bow and that little pine cone that you can see underneath it. And so next up, I'm thinking I'm going to go this way and try to get that done. And then I will have the first half completely finished. So this is, I know I won't have another page finish done if I'm only going to work on it for a week, even if that's all what I'm focusing on. But I'm just getting as much done as I can. Would really, really, really like to kind of focus on this over the course of the year. And if I don't think that I'm getting enough of it done, I will probably just focus on it by the time we get to the fall, because I'd love to have this done for Christmas 2017. So that's where I am on that one. I'm enjoying working on it, but it is, this is the 28 count linen 1/1 project that I was talking about. And, you know, the stitches are small. There's no getting around it on this size. It is. And I love how it looks and I love how it's coming out. But it's small, very small. This is definitely something I work on when I have good lighting and my head about me and all that good stuff. So that is where I am on that particular project. Let's see if there's anything else I need to talk about. No, that's it. Did I say 32 count? This is 28 count. I lied to you if I said 32. 28. Still small. Just saying. Okay, then I am also still working on the Tempting Tangles Mystery Sal, a Welcome Sal. This is being done on 32 count Ren linen from Picture This Plus. It is Gentle Arts threads, 2/1. The original called for DMC, but I'm substituting out the Gentle Art. This is through clue 8, which I think maybe is as far as you guys have seen. Well, maybe not. I think this clue that is this section here, I've added the ohm part of welcome. So this is halfway done. Now, clue 9 came out, I believe it was Christmas weekend, and I am waiting to get the next clue to do clues 9 and 10, which will go down here. They're small enough, I'm finding I can do those at the same, like, just work on them consecutively, pop this back in the frame, work on them, get that done without any problems for a weekly rotation. So the other thing that I'm planning on working on, and I gotta go get my threads. One second. Sorry about that. I have my fabric, but not the threads. So the other thing that I'm planning on working on the rotation week that I work on this stitch along is the new Under the Sea stitch along from Lakeside Needlecrafts, which I have not started, although the clue has come out already. So I could start it at any point in time. This is the first clue, which I will not be ruining a surprise because there's lots of people who have already finished stitching it. This cute little octopus. And I have the limited edition fabric, which is an ombre that starts light and goes dark. It's even a little bit darker here, rolled around. I'm doing this on a 25 count even weave. My plan is to do it 1/1 because, again, with the small things, that's what I prefer. So I'm going to be using that. And then the stitch along calls for DMC, and I do have all the DMC needed. I have all the colors that I would need for that. But when this came out and I was looking at the greens and orange, and it just has a little bit of black back stitching, I decided that maybe what I wanted to do was switch out some of the colors for some of the hand-dyed floss that I have from Color and Cotton, because I get their monthly monthly cotton colors kit that Angela puts together. That's 5 or 6 5-yard batches of hand-dyed floss, and I thought that these would actually go great with that design. There's a yellow or orange, the brighter orange, the green, and then the black for the back stitching. Say that 3 times fast. The only color that I need is this lighter green right here, and it looks like the eyes are white. So I may just pull the DMC colors for that and call it good. But I think these will look good on this. Let's see if I have it set up. I think those colors will be just fine. So these are from actually her December and November from two different ones. There's Bright Pine, Coal, which I'm going to use for the black, the Great Pumpkin, and a Glow. So I think those will actually work really well together on that. And in the other colors that I have, I didn't bring the other ones with me, but there's like this peacock that I think would be great for this theme with those blues and greens. There's another colorway that she sent called Mermaid's Tail, Mermaid's Cove, Mermaid's something. I'd have to look it up. But at any rate, that was in the November package. That's kind of watery light blues and lilacs, and I thought, well, that would be perfect for this. So I'll see what the other monthly patterns look like, but my plan, at least for now, is to sub out as much of the Color and Cotton Club flosses as I can, and give me an excuse to work with those. I love the colors. Angela always sends a really nice mix, so yeah, I think that'll be fun. The metallic that goes with that is kind of a blue-green metallic. I'll just use that. It's, well, I have the DMC version of the metallic, but I also have another metallic that was in the Stitchy box in November, December. So I could place that out. It's almost exactly the same color if I don't like the DMC, and I know I haven't worked with the DMC metallic, and I know some of you don't love it. I don't have an opinion on it since I haven't worked with it, but there you go. Let's see. Okay, last but not least, for the things that I'm working on, is the Winter Garden. The pattern is by the Drawn Thread. I am working this on a 32 count linen from Witchelt. It's their Smoky Pearl, I think, is the colorway. And here is where I am. This is page 1. Page 1 and a little bit. So I have everything done all the way over to this motif, this conifer. And I'm working this, the original pattern calls for needlepoint silks and dinky dyes, and I'm actually working this one using Gentle Arts floss, my conversion on that. But I love it. I don't know if the camera will focus close enough. No. You can just barely see on this, on the conifer, there's all of those different colors in that hand-painted floss and the specialty stitches on that, on the needles. I love how that is coming out. I think that's one of my favorite pieces of this so far. So there's 3 full pages and then a little page. It's not even a half, maybe somewhere between a quarter and a third of a page. So my goal for working on this one is to try to have this done as part of the Stitchmania's Whimsical Winter Stitch Along that runs from now through March 21st. I would love to have this done by March, or maybe March 19th. And have this done by then. To be honest, if I don't have it finished by then, I probably will keep it in the rotation and just finish it, because I've got to think I will be fairly close at that point. I've got January, February, and March to put this in the rotation, and so, you know, it gives me 3 full weeks to work on it. Really enjoying the mix of this. It has some specialty stitches, it has some cross stitch. You know, I don't mind back stitch. I actually think it goes pretty quickly, and it's kind of nice to work on the back stitch that has the names of all the different plants. It kind of gives you a good centering point for the motifs. Really well written instructions. I'm loving working on this. There's just enough of a bunch of different things to give you a break. Like if you want to do a little different stitch, you can you know, pop in these lazy daisies. I know they're not everyone's favorites, but you know, they're fun to do when you've only got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30 of them to do. Bang through those pretty quick. So yeah, I've been really enjoying working on this, and so that is on my, that'll be the 4th rotation project. I'm counting the 2 stitch-alongs, the Welcome Sal and the Under the Sea Sal, is kind of one project because they're both small enough that I say this, pretty sure that it's not an unreasonable goal to get them both done in 1 week's worth of rotation. So for January, what I'd like to do is I'd like to keep up with, put 2 clues on the Welcome Sal and finish this clue, start and finish this clue from the Under the Sea Sal. I'd love to get the first block of Hawk Run Hollow done. I'd like to put many stitches in on the Decorating the Wreath, the Heaven and Earth design as I can. Just kind of want to keep making progress on that, and then we'll see how far I get on the Winter Garden. That'll have a week's worth of time dedicated to it. Unfortunately, the next couple of months I wind up with several weekend days that I have to work, and those are normally my focused stitching time. So we'll see how that affects the rotation and how that goes. I know that when I leave and I go work all day out and about, with the drives that I have to do when I work outside the home, it's usually at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours each way that I drive. I get home and all I want to do is sit and do something mindless, and it's usually dark by then with the shorter days. So if I'm working on something that requires a lot of good natural light, that is not a good time to work on it. It's also when I make mistakes, and honestly, I don't like, I do not like frogging anything on that Heaven and Earth design. I want it to go in right the first time. It's a pain. And, you know, as my husband said, who's gonna know? But there are sections in this yellow part that there's a couple stitches here and there that are off. And yeah, I know it's not ruining the piece or making it so like you can't tell what it is, but it bugs me enough that while it's happening, I just would rather do it right the first time. I'm a little OCD that way. So those are my January projects, January goals. What else am I doing? Oh, so there's a ton of stitch-alongs happening this year, particularly in Stitch Mania. Katie and Garrett have set up some amazing, fun-sounding things. You know, realistically, I'm not going to tackle but so many of them, and if I have a project that fits into that, great. But for instance, they're doing each month they're doing a different designer. And I'm probably not going to do that just because I don't have a ton of the designers that are on this year's list. And I love seeing everything that people are working on, but I can't keep starting new things. That's the sum total of this. One of the things that I kind of came to grips with, and this is true if you know me in my knitting life, I love complex projects. I love complex projects on small needles. I love, you know, Fair Isle sweaters. I love things with lots of cables. I love multiple charts. That apparently is what I also love in cross stitch. I love really complex designs. I love things that are big projects, you know, things that are not quick stitches. The other side of that coin is I like to finish stuff, and big projects, right? They take a long time to finish. So you don't have the gratification of saying, oh, look, I have a finished object, like this little guy, right? Finished it up. That felt so good. I have a finish. Yay, fully finished. I can display it. It makes me happy. I love looking at it. I love it. This is not something that you guys are going to be hearing me say, yay, it's finished anytime in the near future. So I've really been struggling with what I want to do for kind of long-term goals and things because, you know, Hawk Run Hollow is a big project. Heaven and Earth design is a big project. If you've watched me before, you know I have another Heaven and Earth design that's started that I've put on hold because I want to be able to focus and get something finished. And I know if I keep getting distracted by that, it's Amy Stewart's A Stitching Shelf, I will never ever get anything finished. The Winter Garden is not massive, but it's a decent sized project. So I don't even really have anything super small. The stitch alongs are fairly small, you know, in terms of each of the little blocks, but I know realistically the Welcome Sal is going to take me through April, and the Under the Sea Sal is going to take me through the end of the year because there's one block released each month. Can't really get to it before you get the block. So I've been rethinking some of my other things because I know that on deck I want to do, at some point in the next 12 months, I want to start a chatelaine and I want to start a mirabilia. And I have the mirabilia kitted up. It's Stargazer. I'll show you that kit when I'm ready to start it. I have, I used some of my other Christmas money, and while I don't have anything to show you, I have one chatelaine kit that's on order. It's the Winter Water Garden. I have all of the supplies on order from European Cross Stitch. That was like an early Christmas present that I got the money for, and I ordered the stuff, but you know, it takes a while to ship, to get all that together and ship. So I probably won't have that before February, maybe. Not that I'm starting it right away, but it'll be a while. The other chatelaine that I decided to kit up, I used some other money that I had gotten, and the rest of my 1-2-3 Stitch gift certificate from my folks. And because I wanted to see what the difference in price and hassle was to order a chatelaine kit from European Cross Stitch and to order a chatelaine kit where you kitted stuff up. So like I had an Amazon gift card. I got all the beads on Amazon. And they were, you know, relatively inexpensive that way. I then picked up some other things individually, like all of the petite treasure braid that I needed. Picked that up, you know, I paid for that. Used my 1-2-3 Stitch to pick up some of the silks, kind of cobbled all that together. Price-wise, I don't think that does anything. It doesn't save you anything if you were just to buy a kit through European Cross Stitch. And the hassle factor is there, right? Because there's stuff that's out of stock. There's stuff that's, you know, you don't have what the original was and you're trying to find something that's now a discontinued color. I think in the future I will just bank some credits from my Stitch from Stash finishes or carry over my monthly budget that way, and just if I want another kit in the future, I will just go with European Cross Stitch and let them send me all of the floss and all of the beads. I'll buy the fabric, but it's just not even worth it, in my opinion, to go all these different places. And then, you know, Amazon, I got free shipping, but I didn't at 1-2-3 Stitch, so there was a separate stitching thing, and there was a shipping charge, and there was a separate charge for the petite treasure braid shipping. I think it comes out in the wash in terms of what you're paying. So anyway, that was my thought on that. So chatelaines, I hesitate to tell you all this, but I like the look of chatelaines, don't get me wrong. I like looking at them. I'm a member of the Chatelaine support group on Facebook. I've really enjoyed, you know, like going through all of the stuff on the Chatelaine page and looking at the things in the shop. None of the pictures in the Chatelaine shop do justice to those designs. Not even close. Because if you Google, let's say, Winter Water Garden, it will pull up people's blogs. It will pull up Pinterest. It will pull up just random things on the internet, right? Just click on images and it brings you up all of those. I have fallen so hard down that Chatelaine rabbit hole of the things that I want to kit up and make at some point. I'm seriously considering having just a year where I just work on chatelaines, which is insane because they're huge, right? There's no way I could ever finish everything that I would want to start that's a chatelaine project in a year. And I got this crazy wild hair idea that it would be really fun to do a chatelaine from either every place that I've already visited or some place that's on my bucket list. So they have a Scotland one, and they have an Ireland one. They have a Hawaii one. They have the desert one, which is one of the ones I kitted up. Those are all places that I've been. We live in the desert, high desert, Southwest. So that's on my short list. But I also want to do the polar one, the polar mandala. Have you seen that one? Don't go look at it because then you'll want to do it too. I'm just saying. And it's obscenely expensive. I mean, the number of silks and specialty threads and beads, crazy pants. I'll get to it someday. I was joking with a friend, you know, there's all these books out there that are in that fantasy world kind of genre where people get bitten by vampires and they become one of the undead and they're all upset about this. And I'm thinking, man, that would be fantastic because then I would have an unlimited life expectancy to work on every project that I want to work on in all of my crafting lives. That would be awesome. Just saying. Rabbit trail. Anyhow, so one of the things that I think I may switch up, this is where this conversation is going, and if you're still here, 2 thumbs up, you've got fortitude. One of the things I was thinking about doing is instead of doing one of the drawn thread projects that are each of the seasons that I kind of had outlined as part of my 2017 plans, not doing quite so large a project and doing a couple smaller wordplay type things or a couple of small ornament-sized pieces, something that I could realistically get finished in a month or maybe 2 and have done and feel like I was finished it and not have a whole bunch of quite so many works in progress that are of the commando-sized projects. That's not going to happen until I at least get a couple of other things kind of ramped down here. I think that the winter garden that I'm currently working on is a doable project to finish this year. Decorating the wreath, I think probably is as well, but it probably will not be finished until late in the year. So my thought is if I can finish the Welcome Sal, which will finish up in April, and I can finish my winter garden project by the drawn thread, that will leave me the Lakeside Needlecraft Sal. It will leave me the Village of Hawk Run Hollow, and my Decorating the Wreath. And I think with all of those, I certainly can add in a couple of smaller projects and possibly even for my birthday, which is mid-year, it's in July, start a chatelaine. Just saying. That is the current tentative plan. Now I have to decide which of the 2 chatelaines I'm going to work on. I'm leaning towards the desert one, and I did buy fabric for that. Which I bought and paid for, and it's coming from Picture This Plus, but it's not here yet, you know, the lag time. Because I'm not 100% sure that I picked a color I want to use now that I've seen, because my threads for that came yesterday. We'll see. I'll do a floss toss maybe, and if you guys are following me on social media where I am Little Bird Knitter, or Little Bird Stitcher on Instagram, you can find me there. I might do a floss toss and see what you guys think. Because I picked a color that was a little bit non-neutral. And I like the concept of it, but we'll see if it works with the flosses. So anyway, that is where I am for January to kick off 2017. I think that is it for today. And I hope you guys had an absolutely wonderful start to your 2017 with lots of good stitchy time. I am looking forward to 2017. I'm hoping that there will be a few less crazy pants, stressful moments. Every year has some stresses, but I could do without, you know, surprise, you get to have major surgery that will eat up your entire summer. Could do without that for 2017. So if possible, I'm gonna go with that and not have that happen this year. We'll see. You just never know. It's an adventure. Life is an adventure. So I hope you guys are doing well. I will plan on checking in with you in February. Hope to get lots of good stitching time in this month, but we'll see how that goes with my work commitments. And until I talk to you guys again, I will see you on Flosstube, and I look forward to catching up with you in a month. Take care.